Hi, I'm Anita Rometo from the Greensburg Salem School District, and I'm the community liaison for the school. The first thing I want to do is thank you for coming, but also thank the museums, you know, to include the schools in this wonderful partnership that Westmoreland Museum of American Art and the Industrial Museum in Oberhausen has been a great learning experience on so many levels. Plus, I was fortunate enough to travel with Katie to Germany. It was pretty cool because that came out of nowhere. The school district would not send me to a conference in Harrisburg, but I got to go to Germany. So I was very thrilled. I wanted to talk about a few different things with the project. This is the outside of the museum that Katie was talking about earlier. And we had an opportunity to see a lot of their museums. The Industrial Museum here that deals with heavy industry is one of 7 museums that the LVR has. But what I want to talk first about is about some of the challenges that this project presented. And you've heard a little bit about them. You've heard about the technology challenge. The challenge I want to talk about is time. And we've talked already about the fact that there's a 6-hour time difference. So our kids were arriving at school when their kids were going home. So our dreams of the kids Skyping during school and talking to each other and exchanging things just did not happen. Along with the 6-hour time difference is the problem that Kelly spoke about. Our school actually has classes, you only take 4 classes a semester. And each of those classes is 90 minutes long. So that once the program really got up and running, and another time issue was the fact that by the time we got the grant and learned about it, the program did not really get up and running until November. So those wonderful journals that you saw Kelly's class do, they really did between the middle of November and the middle of January when our semester ended. So for some of our other courses, just when they started thinking about ideas of how they could implement it, the term was over and they got another whole group of kids and possibly another whole class to teach, another course to teach. So that was one of our challenges. A big thing that I'm sure you're aware of, and it was sort of nice to know that it also happens in Germany, is standardized testing. Who would have thought? But that was one of our other time issues. Finding time for people who were not in art class or in a traditional English class to include this project around our testing times and their testing times. In Germany, they're in the process of taking a 13-year education process down to a 12-year education process. So they're starting to, you know, condense. So they also had time issues. And still, even with all those time constraints, you saw the kind of work that the kids were able to do and the way that the teachers were able to incorporate it. I think step by step, brick by brick, we were able to start making those kind of connections. And the only thing that really was holding us back and the only thing that really limits us, ooh, look at that. I clicked. Didn't want to click. Click that. There. Is the imagination of our students and our teachers. And you'll find, as you look into the display area, I'm not sure what you call it.
Interactive gallery.
The interactive gallery. As you go to the interactive gallery, you'll see that there's a lot of imagination there, and there's been a lot of wonderful things produced. One of the things that I got to do was visit a school. And the school that I went to was the Gustav Heinemann School Center. And that is very much a modern school. It could very easily be a school right here in Westmoreland County. Lots of artwork on the walls. They're done by the class of 2007. This particular school, or at least the part of the center was a campus. And the school that we visited was a secondary school, so it covered about 7th grade through 12th grade. And it was interesting in a lot of ways. What you see there is a solar panel. I love this. Matter of fact, I'm looking for a way to do this. What happened in Germany is a group of parents raised money or gathered money for the school to get a solar panel. They use it for science, and they also sell the energy back to their electric company. So I thought that was a pretty interesting thing to do. Now, the headmaster there is Mr. Selfield, and he's the gentleman there talking to Katie and I, and he is very interested in expanding this partnership. Now, this particular school, the Gus O'Connor's, whatever that word is, means school center. I Google fished it, and I know that. He's very interested in continuing the partnership and maybe even doing some sort of exchange program between the two schools. So this really is an opportunity for the schools to grow in so many ways. While I was there, I had a chance to talk to people and to look at, there's a view of their football field, which is very unusual for schools to have athletic fields there. Their situation was slightly different than ours. But the gentleman you see I was talking to there is Mr. Gormans. Mr. Gormans is the class in this school that is interested in this project. And they were younger. They were about the age of our 8th graders. And they've got a really sort of interesting project that they're doing. They broke up into groups. And each group is taping and editing a video. And some of them are talking about the traditions that they have in Germany, be they local traditions or family traditions, regional things that happen, because there were kids there from different regions of Germany. There were some people that were interviewing former steel workers. There were kids that were doing what I thought was sort of interesting. They were making videos on what they thought Americans thought Germans were like. And as you talk to them about this, and unfortunately my camera wasn't working that day because I didn't know that batteries needed to be recharged. Another technology problem. As we were talking to them about their project, one thing kept coming up over and over again, and it was food. And one of the things that everybody who was making the video about traditions is that they think that all Americans think that they eat sauerkraut and knockwurst. And they made it very clear to me that Germans do eat those foods, but not all the time, and that's not the only food that they eat. And it's not even a food that they eat a lot in that particular region of Germany. Which led us to American foods and American traditions. And they said, what's a traditional American food?
Meatloaf.
Meatloaf? You know, I'm thinking hamburgers came from Germany. I'm thinking hot dogs came from Germany. I'm thinking pizza, spaghetti came from Italy. So, you know, when you're a nation of immigrants, it's sort of hard to have a traditional food, you know. And we don't think of corn, you know, Native Americans gave us that. We don't think of turkey, we got that from Native Americans. So I asked the kids, what do you think traditional American food is? And they all answered together, and they answered in one word. McDonald's. So that was interesting. Not exactly what we were aiming for. And which led us thinking about how we perceive each other. You know, they also get all of our television shows over there, which means they think people live like they do on Desperate Housewives. Or worse yet, The Sopranos. You know, so we talked about the fact that entertainment and real life are very different, and that we have lots more similarities than we think.